we have a great man in our midst today. So, Mr. Nyong Harrison, you are highly welcome. The floor is yours.
Okay, good evening to everyone. I don't know if you can all get me. Our coordinator, can you get me? Hello? Okay, thank you very much, the coordinator. I appreciate those things you have said. And thank you, thanks to everyone who is actually on this very important webinar on online studies. To come back to our coordinator, my name is Nyong Harrison. I'm working with the Center for Research and Integrated Health System Strengthening. I'm the zonal coordinator in the East region. We actually have 2 zones in the East region, and we are working with Georgetown University Health System that is in the East region, and in the center, working on the PEPFAR project in reducing or in achieving the WHO goal, the 95 percentage goal. That's to say 95% of persons living with HIV get to know their status, and 95% of that percentage get to receive their testing, or they are placed on antiretroviral therapy, and 95% of those on antiretroviral therapy have a reduced viral load count. So that's why I'm here in the East region. But at the same time, I'm a student in Liverpool's John Moores University. I am actually taking a course in international public health. And I think that is why we are here to talk about online studies. So my presentation is actually going to be it's not going to take much time because I expect my participants to engage in a dialogue with me as we try to look at what online study is all about. I believe there are quite a good number of us here who have had the opportunity to take a course online, and there are many more who might be getting into online studies because of the demand and because of the realities of present context. So let's move straight away to our topic of discussion. We are talking on online studies. I don't know if you can all see my screen. Yeah, can you see my screen?
No, sir. I can
Okay.
only see your face.
Sorry about that. Let me share the screen for everyone to see. I guess you can now see my screen.
Yes, I can see.
Okay, thank you very
Online
much.
study.
Yeah, let's move straight into the discussion of the day, online study. This is the outline we are going to follow. We are going to look at what online study is all about, the different types of distance learning. You see, there are some words that are going to be interchanging, but then we are going to see what these words are, and then we try to apply it in our present day context. And we will equally be talking about facts about online studies. What are the advantages and the disadvantages of online studies, and the final thoughts. And of course, at the end of these studies, we expect that you should have grabbed at least 75% of our outline. Now, what is online education or online studies? Online education is a form of education that is delivered and administered using the internet. Like we are all connected on this call via Google Meet. We are receiving, information. We are interacting together with the use of the internet. There is equally the use of digital technology such as laptop, mobiles, and of course the computer. Now, we cannot talk about online studies without talking about a virtual environment. You know, just like you go to school, you go to class, of course, I mean, the classroom setting is different from your house. The classroom setting is different from your office. The classroom setting is to enable students to learn and to grasp knowledge as much as possible. And it's the same thing with the virtual learning environment. The virtual learning environment is an environment which is virtual, just like the name entails. The environment is not a physical. In a virtual learning environment, we meet virtually, like we are actually on this call. I may not know where you are connected, where you are connecting to, where you are connected from, but we are all on this platform at this time, and we are actually looking at this subject matter together. So this is an environment we have created, and it's of course virtual. Distance learning is a method of study where teachers and students do not meet in a class, but they use the internet, they use email, they use mails. The reason I decided to use the word email and mail, it is because in distance studies, you can have a scenario where students, they go to school, and maybe because of crisis and or lockdown, they get to start communicating with their teachers via a phone call, or maybe via a mail. The teacher can deliver assignments or work through a mail service provider like Campus, if you are listening to us from Cameroon, or maybe DHL and all those service providers. This is to tell us that distance learning has everything to do about the internet. It has everything to do about, I mean, the physical environment. But of course, online learning is a form of distance learning where we get to meet via the internet. We get to meet via emails, and everything is electronic in distance online studies. Now, what are the types of distance learning? We have what is known as the synchronous distance learning and the asynchronous distance learning. We have the paced distance learning and self-paced. Now, for the synchronous distance learning, everybody is connected. The teacher, the students, they are interacting at the same time from different locations, and this kind of connection is being facilitated by a digital technology, like in the case where students are using the Zoom, or they are using other platforms for their dialogue. You see, these students are connected from different locations. They are connected at the same time. The emphasis is placed on the time. Now, with asynchronous distance learning, the learners do not participate at exactly the same time with the teacher. That's to say, the teacher can prepare content, and then he drops it for the students to benefit from it later, like pre-recorded video lessons, mails, and even notes for the students to go through it, and then maybe submit assignments and the like. Now, with the PACE model, the reason we are having this PACE model is actually a distant learning where, I mean, a school, it might, most especially we have schools that that controls this kind of environment. It is mostly controlled by schools or universities, and yet there is a clear start and end date to where, I mean, towards what the student or the learner is taking online. There is a start and there is an end date, and it allows for flexibility and easier collaboration. It's true, you can decide when to study your notes, when to go through the videos, when to go through the lessons. You can decide when to read, when to, I mean, do whatever you want to do. But at the end of the day, you have to ensure that you finish on the end date. If not, you would automatically failed in whatever you are doing, the course or the subject you are taking. Now, with the self-paced model, this is controlled by the student. You decide, you say, hey, for example, if I'm doing a master's in public health, you can decide to take it for 3 years. You can decide to take it for 5 years. Nobody cares. The most important thing is that you should finish the program. If you can take 10 years, it all depends on you. You can take 1 year, 2 years, that depends on you. The student is in control of the schedule, the structure, and you see it is easily, you can easily adapt it to other activities. Though it is harder to collaborate between students and between the student and the teacher, but you see it is easily adaptable. Now, we have looked at the different distance learning, the different types. We would now be talking about some facts about online studies. You know, people have a lot of perceptions, a lot of things which we are going to see with regards to online studies. But now, these are the realities about online studies. Number one, it engages students at a deeper level. You see, when you are studying online, nobody needs to, I mean, your teacher, nobody is there looking at you to say, is this man, imagine a case where the student is doing the asynchronous. That's you go to class whenever you like, at what time you like. It's not like the lecturer says we are meeting at 3 p.m. GMT +1. Everybody has to be there. No, just imagine that case. You see, for a student, you might need some certain degree of commitment, some certain degree of, discipline and diligence in order for you to go about this, as we are going to see. So with the help of devices, applications, and other tools, it makes less pressure to engage the students. Also, it makes learning a more interactive and enjoyable perspective. The second fact you need to know about digital or online studies is that it improves digital literacy. You see, there are so much resources available for us online, so much resources that, I mean, you cannot, in your lifetime, you cannot exploit it. But with the advent of digital or online studies, you start rediscovering some. You start getting access into libraries and into many places that maybe if you were just sitting in your lifetime, you would not have ever imagined. So students who are able to use online tools, they effectively have a lot to gain in the workplace. The majority of roles in a business require a few levels of digital know-how. You see, the world is gradually evolving. Things are changing. Whether you are a gate man or whatsoever, you are a farmer, you need digital technology. So things are evolving. Before, people used to use this, what they call the hand typewriter machine and all those kind of things, and it was very lucrative and very promising. People were engaged in learning those things. But when the computer and the internet came into place, you see all of those things, if you did not adapt to the changing environment, I mean, you would fall out of business. So nobody is left out. You see, another thing too is the fact that it is affordable. Online learning definitely reduces financial costs as it is far more affordable as compared to physical financial cost. Imagine a case where you have to travel. You are a student, you are in Bamenda, you have to travel and go to Yaoundé. You don't have relatives there. You need to pay in a cité. You need to pay and start living there. Whereas if you had stayed in Bamenda, I mean, at the comfort of your home, all you need is data, internet, at the comfort of your home. You don't need to pay your school fees. There's no transportation. I mean, no money for, you don't need to bother about pocket allowance and the many other things that usually come with traveling and displacement. You see, it is a bit much more affordable. Another thing too is the fact that it is flexible. You can be a student and you are working at the same time, like I'm doing right now. You see, I'm a full-time worker engaged in a project and managing some certain number of staff and always under pressure from work and struggling to deliver, struggling to get results. But you see, at the comfort of at any given time, I feel a bit relaxed. I just dive into my studies, and that's how I do it. So it's a bit flexible. I do not need to travel and go to Yaoundé and look for a school and sit there and I'm studying. No, I don't need to do that. There are no expectations on attendance. You can study at night or weekends or however you choose to fit in into the existing life. You can study at any time. You know, most of the times people prefer to study in the night. You see, in the day you are up and doing, you are engaged in activities, projects. In the night, nobody knows what you are doing, but you are making great progress in your career. So that's a very important point to take note of. And it helps to know students better. You see, with online learning, even shy students may feel at ease and open to participation in discussion and course activities. Educator can interact with a wider range of students from different views on course matters. This makes class interesting and helps you to bond with students as you get to understand them better. You are discussing with students from different locations. I mean, just imagine that kind of environment. Students from different backgrounds, different culture, different systems of operations and even education. It exposes you to so much that even if you had traveled, you see, I'm traveling, I want to go out of the country and to get knowledge. I mean, you will still not be able to get it because you'll be limited within the context of that country or that environment where you are. But with distance learning or online studies, I mean, you see yourself in a classroom with students from other African countries, even students from your country. You know, at times it's amazing to realize that there is a student, in the same class with you from your country. The first thing you want to do is, hey, let me write this student. You start asking, where is your location? You see, it creates an environment where you get to connect easily and wider with people. And not only that, it enhances career prospects. As we all know, online learning has a positive impact on the employability of those who successfully obtain the online qualification. You see, there is one thing to begin and there is another thing to finish. Statistics have shown from studies that most of those who get into online studies, they don't get through till the end. About 65%, if I'm not mistaken, that's about 65% of the people, they struggle to get through. The remaining percentage, some try as much as possible, but they reach at a certain level, they say, no, I cannot continue. They just give it up, or they end at a certain level without really getting what they really wanted to get. So having if you are able to go through the study very well, your employers are going to enjoy you. They would want to keep you. And you see, having computer skills, knowing cloud-based documents will translate to many professions in the digital age. Look at what is happening now. We are actually connected from different locations. There are people from Bamenda, there are people from maybe Jones, Yaoundé, and even out of the country like Canada, and people from all over the world that are going to be connecting with us, or that are already connected to us in this discussion we are having right now. So you see, it is just to tell us that we are in an age where we need to start leaving the traditional or the conventional system of doing things into what is actually happening to reality. You see, reality is drifting towards digital age, and it makes students more, and you see, digital online studies, it makes students more confident and more capable of transitioning to different roles. There are skills you get to learn as you engage in online studies. So many skills you get to learn. Just imagine that you could not use Google Meet on your handset. Just imagine that you could not use YouTube, and then you've heard of online studies. You see, even in the course of studies of studying, they'll be directing you, they'll be sending you links. Go and watch this video, go and download this document, upload this document. So it helps you to transition and to gain the skills that are required in the digital age. And you know, another fact with online studies is that it provides you with opportunity for multiple ways to learn, multiple ways. You see, in online classes, lecturers have many choices in how to teach. They have many choices. They can, they have different ways of how they can teach. They can send a student to, they can ask questions. They can do so many things. They can offer innovative and interesting ways to deliver content and demonstrate points. You see, there are so many ways. When you are in a virtual learning environment, VLE, that's what they call it, the virtual learning environment. People who are doing online studies in different institutions, they will tell you the nature of how their virtual learning environment is. But I'm going to tell you something about that of Liverpool John Moores University. Without publicity, it's the virtual learning environment that has been provided by UNICAF. It's a scholarship body. It's in such a way that they provide content for your studies and your exams and everything. They provide on the start day of your studies. They provide everything on the start day. So if you can do everything and finish on one day, something that was supposed to take 2 months, it is all left to you. But then you have to understand that there is a finish date. And in the course of your learning, the lecturer can send you mails, or he can send you messages via the virtual learning environment, and you receive direct mails referring you to the VLE. And when you get there, you get to see all those things, links to videos, and you digest them, you do your assignments, your exams, you submit, and at the end of the day, you receive your work is being accessed. You receive your scores and you know where your stands are. So you see that there are a lot of multiple ways we can learn on these online studies. There are a lot. If Mr. Dixon is here, maybe at the end of my presentation, I'm going to give him an opportunity to tell me how theirs was like. Like for my case, it was actually a paced distance learning kind of it was structured in that way. A pace, that's everybody had a start day and a stop date. You see, it was not like the self-paced where you can decide to say, okay, I'm going to, this program is 2 years, I can take 3 years. No, it differs from one institution to another. And with the pace, I just want to equally emphasize that with the pace distance learning, you actually, like we said, is connected to a school, and you are actually connected with the students, the on-campus students, such that you're having the same pace with them. You see, you're having the same pace. The only difference now is you are actually in a virtual learning environment, but they go to school at a particular time of the day, but you can decide to enter your class, your virtual learning environment, any time of the day. Even in the weekend, you can always do that. Now, let's look at some myths and some realities about online studies. Number one, you see, people feel that degrees that are obtained online, they are not valid. People don't respect it. That is the impression that we have. I've talked to so many people about, and it's like they're afraid that, hey, you see, going to class is more better. That, you see, I feel that when you go to class, it carries more weight. No, that's not it. In your degree, your certificate, they don't put there that you are a student online. They don't do that. So when they take the time I'll be getting my certificate in international public health, you will not be there that I was an online student. No, it will be from Liverpool John Moores University. You see, so that is the reality. That is the truth. Companies appreciate the flexibility that online learning they offer. Don't be afraid of that. Don't be afraid of taking one. Number two, online learning is less demanding. Yeah, people feel it is less demanding. That is wrong. It is quite wrong. It's not easy. You see, online classes are tailored to meet busy schedules. It increases time management skills. I can assure you, if you cannot manage time, you would see yourself in a mess. I saw myself retaking a model that had no credit. I mean, an induction model, a model that was meant to introduce me to what a virtual learning environment was all about. I saw myself paying and retaking that model because I I thought that I could just manage, get up one night and then just scratch something and I send. But when I was faced with reality and time, I realized that I could not manage time. I saw myself retaking a useless model. And at the end of the day, after I'd retaken that model, I had 100% for, I mean, after spending another sum of money, £100 for nothing. You see, so it can be very stressful and demanding at times if you cannot manage time. Number three, online learning is isolating and lonely. You see, in school or in the classroom, you get to discuss with your mates, you get to discuss with people, and you can easily flow. I mean, there is that sense of, study, schooling around you, but with online, people, even the people around you, they don't feel that you are a student. Talk less of yourself. The only thing that makes you feel you are a student is because maybe you are reading something, you are following something, you are in a virtual learning environment. That is the only thing. Apart from that, there is nothing. So you feel isolated, you feel lonely in a way physically. And not only that, the instructor in online classes is in quite inferior. You see, that is what people think. That's why people feel that the instructor in online classes is inferior. It's a myth. It's not true. You see, most of the faculty are industry experts. Most of those who are doing this, they are industry. You see, before even engaging yourself in an online course, maybe a degree, a postgraduate program, a PhD program, there is always a model that introduces you to the virtual learning environment. I mean, everybody, even if you have never known what a computer is all about, you've never known what the internet, they always introduce you. And those who do that, they are experts. They understand the dynamics and this, they understand the dynamics of what is actually happening. They understand. So they will interact with the students through online discussions. They are usually discussion classrooms where they create groups and then they put members in that group where you can discuss on a subject matter, like those of us in the field of health. During times of COVID-19, it's true, you guys can be talking about, for example, health improvement, but then you are equally looking at discussing on things like how COVID-19 is affecting children, how it's affecting, it's affecting other aspects of life. Those things that you can do them via discussion, via mails, emails, and chats and lecture sessions. So these are myths and truths about the online studies. Now, let's look at the advantages of online studies. Number one, it helps people learn fast. You see, if you can study online, you can basically do everything. You can basically do everything. Nowadays, companies with their staff learn fast to meet the quick of a highly dynamic business environment. For those in the public service, it might be very tempting to be lax and very for you to be lax and you are not growing in your career. Nobody cares anyway. At the end of the month, your money is coming. But those in companies, those in organizations where you are being paid based on your performance, you see, you will do everything always to ensure that you are in the market, because the worst thing is when you are kicked out of the market. You get unemployed again. Number two, online learning is highly cost effective. This is an advantage. It's cost effective. You don't need to think about traveling, food expenses, and many other things, uniform and all those things. I mean, all those things where lecturers will come and give you handouts, say, go and photocopy this. They'll just come and give you a textbook, go and photocopy. With online studies, it's different. You see, there are some things you would be doing based on the fact that you actually understand what you are doing. You know what you are looking for. You know where you are heading to. So it's cost effective, and online learning adoption is growing by leaps and bounds. You see, COVID-19 has shown us another phase of how the world would be patterned in some years to come. I mean, we can see the drift. I mean, there is a drift from the conventional way of doing things into digitalization. And you see, that is what is trending now. You see, that is what is in business now. So if you are not into any online studies at any given time, I would advise you to. So, and for the DOMSA members, you see, you are privileged that we have we have what is known as the universal class, where you can go and start acquainting yourself. This environment has been paid for. You go and you learn. You get a certificate from there. You see, you can pursue and even further your studies online, because this is what is in the market now. When planes are no longer moving, vehicles are not moving, should you stop your education? When the teachers say, you see, now we are on strike, we are not going to school, should you stop your education? No, you need to continue. Like when I look at the case in Nigeria, I mean, students, a program for 3 years, a student is already in school for 6 years. The student hasn't received, has not failed a course yet, but the student is still in school because of strike. In a digital age, it does not make sense, guys. We need to embrace this. We need to embrace it. Number 4, online learning environment is friendly. It's 100% correct that online learning environment is friendly. The corporate world is looking for means to perform its operations in an environmentally long-lasting manner. Yes, it's a friendly environment. Very, very friendly. You see, yeah, when we were in secondary school and even right in the university, you are studying physics, the teacher is telling you, imagine a plane leaves at an angle of theta and is landing at this angle. We were used to imagining theta and all those things. We never saw a plane before. The best we could see was helicopters once in a blue moon passing right far up there. But now with the online system, you get to actually see some of those things. You'll not just be imagining, you see. All the imagination stuff, everything is going to stop. You start seeing. So you start seeing some of those things you have been imagining. So the environment is friendly. As you see, it sticks faster and even more in your memory. And not only that, video-based learning is the order of the day. I mean, there is no day you would not, if you go online, you're on Facebook, you're on YouTube, and on any social media platform, you realize that there are live video-based live programs that are going on, and this is the order of the day. It's the order of the day, and we need to accept this digital learning strategy. We need to accept it. And not only that, you see, irrespective of the fact that there are merits, the advantages, there are some little demerits, disadvantages when you are doing online studies. Number 1, incapacity to focus on screens. You see, some people really enjoy, you might not really be able to focus on screens, on the laptop, your computer, or your phones because of the eye issues. And at times it can be very stressful for those who have complications. But then there are strategies we can always put into place to mitigate that. So you see, because of this, it creates a greater chance for students to be easily distracted by a social media too. So social media equally plays a part. You see, you can be in a class, an online class, and then since nobody is seeing you, you are eating your food, doing your thing, sending your messages to friends, here and there and all those kind of things, which of course is a very big distraction for learners. And you see another disadvantage, technology issues. While learning online, many times you face a key challenge in internet connectivity, most especially in our setting, in countries, in low and middle income countries where we are still struggling to scale up in terms of connectivity. It can be very challenging. You are just imagine you are taking an exam and then the next thing, pop, internet is gone. You'll be discouraged. You've lost your money. All the time you've spent to read, the zeal is going to. So these are some of the challenges. And then equally, sense of loneliness. It's usually not easy to, since you are isolated, your classmate, I'm here in Cameroon, my classmate is in Egypt, there's another one in Zambia, another one in the UK, and all those places. You see, you might, that sense of belonging is not that much there, that you might be feeling somehow lonely. That for example, you see those who are going to school, somebody has just had a degree and everybody is celebrating. We saw this person going to school, but just imagine nobody knows you, what you are doing. You are just doing your things quietly and you are going, but before they know it, the good news is that before they know it, you are already people are already calling you doctor, and they're like, hey, we didn't see this person going to school. And your loneliness is going to come. And another thing too is teacher training. Not everybody is good in teaching in a virtual learning environment. So when it comes to online learning, apart from traditional learning, it requires teachers to have a basic knowledge of using digital forms of learning. This is not only the case of technical knowledge, but sometimes they don't even have the necessary resources and tools to conduct online classes. It's very important. It can be a challenge, you see. And not only that, not suitable for every topic. There are some things which are very, very complex to explain. For example, some topics like how to fly a plane. You see, how do you do that? I read somewhere some time ago while I was still in my undergraduate program, someone was like, those nurses that are doing nursing online, they would to took injection to give a patient a medication is going to be a problem. But then there are ways to mitigate that. While you learn the theory and you get acquainted with the videos, of course, there are times you need to get into practicals, internships. So complex topics and practicals or practices that needs a physical environment are best to go with the traditional learning. We cannot discredit that. And equally, handling screen time. Most of the parents are concerned about the health issues of having their child spend too much time staring at the screen. It's usually, it can be challenging at times. And my secret has always been, I think for some years, quite a good number of years now, for 3 or 4 years, with my laptop, my handset, I always make sure that it is on my screen brightness. It is on how do I call it? I don't want to use the word zero. Should I use the word? Should be user friendly to the eyes, natural, green. Let me put it that way, so that if you are not looking at my phone directly, directly you will not see what I'm doing. So that has been the case, and I've not had issues with my eyes. And equally, we have decreases social interaction. You might, physically, your interaction with people may decrease, but then you are creating an online community for yourself. And this is not very quite good because we are living in a physical world. You see, you still need those people. You need friends, you need students, teachers, physically that can assist you in many other things. Now, the final thought is just for us to understand that distance learning can be briefly described as a form of learning where the teachers and students are not physically present in the same location. And with online, it requires the use of the internet, it requires the use of digital technology. So these are just the final thoughts. And just to reiterate, we've talked about virtual classrooms, which is an online space that simulates a live classroom and many other things we could talk about. But I feel that during the questions and answer session, we can be touching aspects that were not discussed during this session. So at this point, I would like to appreciate you very much for listening, and I would like to find out if at all there are any questions. Thank you very much.
Okay, there's a question. Let me read the question out for you, sir.
Okay.
Yeah. It says, with these online studies, doesn't it give room for students to chat? And if a student, for students to cheat, and if a student cheats, how will you know?
Wow, basically, that is the question that runs through the mind of. Just imagine they say you are doing online studies, you're having an exams, you have the opportunity to just search your question on Google and then you come back and you paste and you would succeed. That is the tendency that people tend to have, but that's not the reality. The truth is, in most online studies, questions or this examination setting, if you cannot make use of those search engines and you use and you would succeed, because number one, if your exam is live, you would definitely have to, you are working on time, so the switching time, the time you switch to another let's say another page or another device to get what you are looking for, you can go out of time. And not only that, there are some systems that can monitor to tell for to be that can say when a student leaves the platform to another platform, and you can be penalized for that. For other settings, you can have the lecturer who is, you are taking the exams, it's a virtual exams, and with a camera in front of you. So the lecturer or the teacher is actually looking at you. In other settings, you can be given an essay to go and look at and to work on. How do you copy from an essay from Google and then you come and paste? No, it does not work, because what happens is when you submit your work, there is actually a plagiarism check for that. And we would know if you did copy and paste. Of course, the system is going to say, and you see, like in my institution, when your plagiarism, when you have copied and your work, 50% of your work has been found to be copied work, you automatically fail. They don't even need to read through your work to mark you have failed. So they expect something less than 50. So you definitely need to, you see, no idea is new. You can make use of people's idea, but then you need to appreciate them by referencing them and paraphrasing their words and their work. I don't know if that question has been answered, but it's definitely or very, very somehow impossible to copy online. Yes, moderator, can you get me? I think there is another question from Dr. Bawe. He says, thank you, sir, for your presentation. Is there a financial assistance to MPH program in John Moores? Let me talk a bit about Liverpool John Moores University. It's a university in UK, actually located in Liverpool, and you can study as in that school, maybe via scholarship through a scholarship body, or you might want to look for admission and you take care of the bills. But of course, if you get into the institution, I will not even advise you in our context, in our setting to you. It'll be very difficult, technically impossible for you to meet the bills, to handle the bills, to take care of that. So yeah, sorry, moderator. Okay, so like I was saying, you may want to get there through a body, a scholarship body that can provide you some financial assistance. What I do in Liverpool, John Moores, it's as a result of the assistance I receive from UNICAF. They actually gave me an 80% scholarship, but the remaining 20% I had to take care of it at my pace. I had a payment plan of which I mean, it was at my pace. I know every month I have to keep set apart something
All
for my
right, there's
education,
another
and
question.
at a given period of.
The yeah,
Okay, yeah, and at a given period of time, I get to pay in something which was not very much burdensome for me, and I think it can equally help many others, most especially those who are having a regular salary, because there is one thing to start, there is another thing to finish, and if you can take it at a, I mean, you can take it at a pace that can guarantee that, let's say, for example, if you are working contract, the project year, 2 years, especially if it is 2 years, you can comfortably take this program with Liverpool's John Moores University. So if they give you an 80% percent scholarship, that's huge, because you be in a school where people spend millions, at least 8 million francs, 10 million francs for the same thing you are doing, and you have the same resources, that you have access to the same resources that they do have. You see, like the online library, you can download materials, all those things free of charge, because you are a student of that school. So, and not only that, you can refer people. If you refer people to the institution, there is a referral bonus that you can get. A referral can even be up to £300. That's I think £300, if I'm not mistaken, should be slightly above 200,000 francs. You see, so if you refer like 5 to 10 students, at the end of the day, you realize that maybe what you have spent is not even up to what some people spend here in the universities around as school fees or whatsoever. Thank you. Okay, I can see. Okay, I think we have answered this question. There is another question by Napoleon, Mr. Yemlu, Dr. Yemlu Napoleon. He says, I wish to find out about the online program you are pursuing or another opportunities. Yeah, I think I've spoken about the Liverpool John Moores University. I would share a link that you can use, a referral link, if you're interested to even find more about the school. You can get, I mean, much information. With UNICAF, you can study with Liverpool John Moores University. And if you want to do, I mean, postgraduate study in public health, with Liverpool's is Masters in International Public Health. But with other schools, like other schools in the UK, because there are 2 schools in the UK that does public health with UNICAF. So you see, the other school, you might just do general masters in public health, but their virtual learning environments are almost the same. They're almost the same, and these are 2 different schools. But there are other schools where you can pursue online programs. I'm just going to talk about, I mean, a few, like the Texila American University, and then you equally have Atlantic International University. I mean, these are schools that are that are there for Africans, because they are relatively cheaper in terms of payment. You equally have, there is one school in South Africa, I think it's Rand's University. It's a bit much more cheaper with that school. The reason I ended with Liverpool John Moores University was because during the COVID pandemic, the school fees of most of these institutions, I mean, almost tripled. I mean, schools that you could pay 700,000 francs to get a master's, I mean, for a program in public health, let's say for 2 years, that's about 1.4 for 2 years. People were now paying almost up to 5 million francs. So it was, you see, that is telling us that those who enrolled for these programs before the pandemic, they actually enjoy, because with the pandemic, many more people are getting digital, and it is becoming very, very. I mean, the prices too are gradually increasing. Except you are giving a scholarship like Mr. Dixon, who had a scholarship with Commonwealth. I think he's here. I would really wish he says something with regards to that, so that you can get another. Maybe he might just want to say something with regards to his experience with his own institution. Another question here it says also another question: what reference letters are needed, and you need help be the referee. Okay, you may help be the referee to Dome Sans. Yeah, it's very easy. This is very easy. You can get letters from your employer if you are working. You can get it from your school if you're having a very good relationship with some good lecturers. Like for me, I had a very good relationship with my vice dean, Prof. Kimbi Helen, and there was equally the head of department for biomedical sciences, who is now a professor, Prof. Samji. So when I wrote them, I said, Sir, Prof, please, I need a letter of recommendation. I just told them I need you as a reference in my letter. When I told them, they said, that's okay, go ahead. When I did that, they were contacted, and you see, they assisted me in the process. It might be your employer. If you're having a very good relationship with your employer, our setting, you have to be very careful. You see, your employer might feel threatened that as you're advancing in your education, you'll be expecting changes in your remunerations. Of course, that's true. But if that employer, he really wants to see the company develop and grow, he would definitely accept you to do it, and he will not stand like a barrier. But I'm just telling you that there are some employers that the moment you even mention that the next contract year, I'm not sure they are going to retain you, because maybe when you finish that program, you will even be more educated than him, and he will feel that his position is being threatened. Yeah, for Domsans, I can be of help. I can be of help for Domsans who would need services with regards to this. And Domsan as an institution can offer, letters of recommendations, so you can reference
Wow,
administrators.
wow, wow, wow. That's great news.
Okay, so I don't think there is any other question that we left out, but if there is no other question, I would want to hand the microphone back to the coordinator. Or maybe before the coordinator comes up, I would like to find out if Mr. Dixon is around. I would like him to share with us his experience with his MPH Commonwealth Scholarship Program. I think it is going to serve as a booster to many students and colleagues who are aspiring to pursue and to further their education. The most important thing is to grow in your career. Career is for life. There is no time you stop learning, or there is no time you say you have had all the knowledge you need. No, it's for life. So I would like him to share with us his experience with his Commonwealth scholarship. Mr. Dixon, are you there?
Yes, I'm there. I'm connected.
Okay, please, you can write on.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity and thank you for the wonderful presentation. In fact, you have spoken almost everything, but I would just want to add some few things. Yes. The truth is that online studies is not for lazy people. So if you are lazy, don't think that online studies will be for you. Is for somebody who is really determined, because you will have to mix many things. It's not like an on-site school. Maybe when you miss a lecturer, you can come and ask your friends, what did we study today? The friend will be able to tell you that this is it. At times, you just receive an email that you have your assignment is due maybe in 3 days. So online studies will teach you how to be organized. Yes, it will teach you how to be organized. You need to be organized as a person and professionally. Online studies to make you to understand how to prioritize your work. Yes, you need to know what is important, and also you have to be disciplined if you want to study online, because you have so many distractions. At times, you may come online like this and you want to study. Maybe somebody is texting you online, somebody wants to inquire some things. If you are somebody who is so attached to social media, you discover that social media will be a distraction to you. And one of the greatest advantages of of online studies is that it gives you the opportunity to work and study at the same time. Like for me, I didn't have to go out because I was already working in a place where it gives me the opportunity to even practice what I've been learning. So that is the advantage of studying online. At the same time that you are gaining experience, you are also studying at the same time. So you don't have to finish from school and somebody start asking you that, do you have this number of years of experience? No. At the same time, you are working and also you are studying. So this gives you the ability to gain time, because you may not have all the time to do some things that you want to do, and at times you don't have to maybe stress. Yes, because for me it was not too, it was stressful at times, but I really enjoyed it. Yes, some people have been asking me that why did I not take the opportunity to travel. I said I just love this one because it gave me the opportunity to practice what I've been learning. Yes, and I really appreciate that opportunity. And my program, I studied Masters in Public Health at the University of um, Aberdeen in Scotland, that is in UK, under Commonwealth Scholarship. And my program was 100% sponsored, so I didn't have to pay any dime, even if single franc. And the total fees was almost around 6 million. So it's something that I will encourage everybody here to apply. If you have difficulties of applying, they will usually launch, because Commonwealth has so many scholarships. There's one that is currently going on now like this, but they also have distant learning program, and it's quite very interesting. I have so many friends that even through the distant learning I've been able to connect with, maybe in Ghana, in UK, in America, and in fact everywhere. So it's a very an awesome opportunity. It helps you to connect to the world even while you are here. It gives you a lot of opportunity and also exposure. So online studies is very good. Yes, and this Commonwealth Scholarship, I can always advise and encourage everyone to do it. And like Mr. Harrison was talking about letters of recommendations and so on, it's very important that even as a student, you maintain good relationship with your lecturers, because I've discovered that most of the times, many students, when they need some of these resources, they find it difficult to access some of their lecturers because, first of all, they were not in good relationship with them. Yes, avoid unnecessary tensions with your lecturers, with those you are working with, anybody that is you are working under. Try as much as possible to work as professional as much as possible and avoid creating problems. Yes, I had so many lecturers who could recommend me. At times, I didn't like any of them. In fact, some of them just told me that anytime I need recommendation, I just edit the recommendation that they gave me, send it back to them, let them just go through it and see if it's okay, then they just submit. So you need to relate well with your lecturers, because some of us may see nice opportunities like this, but we may not be able to get it because maybe nobody is there to recommend you. So you need to relate well with the lecturers. And if you have any difficulty of applying, I will always advise that seek for guidance, because some of these programs are very, especially Commonwealth, is very, very competitive. Because what you do is that you need to apply to a university, and when that university takes your application and considers you for the program before they recommend you for the Commonwealth scholarship. So I will advise that you seek guidance, because they are very competitive, and at times you really need somebody to guide you through the application process. It may not always be that you lack what to write, but you may not know how to put what you want to write in a correct way. So it needs guidance. So if you have the opportunity, I think maybe with time we may organize something like this to help people. Maybe I think maybe when the Commonwealth Scholarship distance learning in particular will be launched, we can arrange maybe an online session like this. We take us through the form because it really needs time and we need to know what it means, what we need to feel where, yes, and go through the form for those who are interested so that they can be able to feel well and feel correctly. I'm sure there is a question. Please, somebody should help me read because I can't see.
All right, sir. The question is, what inspired you to pursue specifically an MPH degree in the first place and not an MSc?
Okay. Public health in particular, I think one of the greatest inspiration I got was where I'm working because I work for the Danish Refugee Council here in Boya in the Southwest region. And it has given me exposure, like where we work, we go to the field, we meet people. Due to this crisis, the crisis has really made so many people, especially women and children, they have suffered a lot. The ones I've seen, it has been a one of the greatest thing that has made me to develop so much passion for public health because and this question is exactly what I wrote in my during my application, and that is what inspired me. I had it has made me now to develop passion for especially children because I saw some of those children that in fact they were really in terrible situations, that they didn't have access to health facilities. Some of the health facilities completely destroyed, some of them, and some children that in fact very anemic because they don't have access to some of these facilities. So with that, it really inspired me to pursue this Masters of Public Health. This is exactly what I wrote, and this is what inspired me. And I love just helping people have access to some of these resources. And with the little resources that was put at our disposal, I was able to help some of them, but some of them I was really just handicapped by the inability and at times lack of knowledge and understanding of what to do. But this masters has really helped me and given me some skills. And recently they just sent my certificate. So when you study online, they don't give you online certificate. They actually send you hard copy certificate. I recently just received my certificate from and it's posted through post office and I collected. So don't be scared. Yes.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Dixon, for what you've added. I'm sure many more people have had other aspects about online learning. Just like you concluded, you may want to travel and attend the graduation ceremony. That's something you may want to experience. Of course, they are going to prepare you letters to get a visa for yourself if you really want to do that. So it's a nice experience, and I'll equally want to let the administration of DOMSA equally create another opportunity on. We don't need to wait for when the Commonwealth or these scholarships the time that they would be launched for us to start preparing students for. No, we can start. I started applying for the PhD program, but I realized that, just like Mr. Dixon said, you need a mentor to guide you. Some 2 years ago, I met a guy and I realized that he was actually following my direction, my career pathway. That was what he was actually doing. He had studied in Boya. He did medical laboratory sciences. He had traveled to the UK on a scholarship and was doing his PhD. So 2 years ago, I wrote him. I said, "Sir, I would like you mentor me in this career path." So he accepted. But for more than a year, we were not talking. And recently, the Commonwealth scholarship for PhD. When I saw it, I got so interested. But I had not understood what it takes. When I wrote that's a body in Cameroon, Open Dreams. I wrote them to request if they could nominate me. They accepted. I said, hey, this one, Mr. Akaba, because he had been my physics teacher in high school. I said, this one, Mr. Akaba has just accepted. Like, I've not been active in Open Dreams. He has just accepted. Something is, there may be something somewhere. So when I wrote this guy in the UK, he told me, he said, young man, you see, you will not be able to apply this year. It was heartbreaking, but I realized from what he said, and just like what Mr. Dixon explained, you need to apply on time. You need to get admission into a school. You need to first of all get admission. So these processes and these stages are very important in the application process. So, and you need to be aware of them so that you will know what to start getting now, know how to improve on your GPAs, know the documents you need to start getting from school. And if you're having troubles in school, difficulties, you would know how to tackle that. And equally, your relationship in school really matters. Don't be in an institution and you leave and no lecturer, nobody, no administrator knows you. That is a death warrant you have signed for your life. If you want to progress in your career, even on internship, as you go on internship, if you are working, make sure an administrator of that institution knows you very well, such that even in the middle of the night they call, they say, hey, do you know Dr. Yemlu Napoleon? We want to find out this. He will just say, hey, I know him. He's one of the best we have had. So I mean, with that kind of expression, what do you expect? You are gone. You are gone. You see, so your relationship with people, and in DOMSA too, your participation for the DOMSAs, your participation in DOMSA activities. When I look at I mean, Jacqueline, Miss Parine, and all these people, Sandra, I look at their engagement. I'm telling myself, I say, these young guys, they don't know what they are doing to their future. They don't actually know. If only they can, I mean, they can work 3 years. I mean, they can go in front like 3 years and see what is ahead of them. They are going to sit down and revisit some of their engagements and their commitments, because these kind of things, these are things that actually redefine our career pathway and makes things easy for us in our activities, most especially online. Since nobody knows you physically, they need to see your activities online and to see or to hear from people that are trusted. So some of this information, it will be good that DOMSA dishes it out to its members and the public, so that we don't see ourselves in a situation where we are struggling 2 days, like something Mr. Dixon understands what I'm talking about. One recent application we did somewhere, and I succeeded in dropping mine like 20 seconds to the close of the system. It was not quite easy, but I just enjoyed the experience. That shouldn't be the case. Thank you very much. I hand the mic over to the coordinator.
Okay, let me just add something to what you are saying before we hand the mic. When it comes to Commonwealth scholarships as well, like Mr. Harrison is saying, what we are doing here is very important because they consider community engagement and leadership. So there is a particular space just for leadership and what the contribution you have been making to your community. Because Commonwealth, they train you just for you to come back and impact your community. And there is no way you can tell them that you will come back and impact your community if you don't have a track record of what you have been doing. You need to show them that this is what I've done and this is where I'm limited. You don't have to be promising them that I will come back and do this and do that, of which you have never been doing it. So you must have something you have been contributing to your community as a person. And I think that this is one of the platforms that we have been using to make our contributions to the community known. So we need to take it serious. because as well, we are talking about references and recommendation. You can also give a recommendation from DOMSA and you'll be well accepted. I'm sure most often they ask for 3 recommendations. 2 can be academic, 1 professional. So let's take what we are doing here serious, because this is also part of community contribution that we are doing. Yes. So most often at times we don't see what we are doing as something, but it's really very important. Yes, Commonwealth is all about community engagement. In fact, when they take you for the first 6 weeks, Commonwealth has a course directed to only for community development. They teach you on community development for 6 weeks. And after that, they give you a certificate before you even start your master's program. Everybody that has been taken for that batch, everybody, irrespective of what you're doing, to tell us that all what they want and they desire is the development of our communities. So what we are doing here is, and I believe that we are really contributing to it. So let's take it serious. Thank you.
Wow, wow. Thank you so very much, Mr. Young Harrison, for the presentation. And a big thank you to Mr. Dixon as well for adding more flesh into it. We are so grateful and privileged to be part of DOMSA and to be part of this webinar of today. So we say thank you so much. And we say God should bless you all for this wonderful presentation. And I would like to say thank you to everyone who took his or her time to attend this webinar. And I think I have learned a lot from it. Definitely, you guys have learned a lot from it too. So before we will close, I would like anyone who have something to say should say it, not actually typing. You can unmute yourself and you go ahead. The floor is open. 1 minute.
Thank you very much, Donsa, and thank you the team for such a wonderful session. Thank you, Mr. Nyong Harrison and Mr. Dixon. Really, really appreciate the information you've given us. In that line, we are going to have a DOMSA mentorship program online, where DOMSA mentorship program for assistance, especially for those who desire to have online education. I think this is the birth of something big and something we should put a lot of effort into, because it's going to help a lot of DOMSAs, and why not those out of DOMSA to get access and to be able to have direction and mentorship to have online courses like this. So once again, thank you. That is the little comment I have.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Brain, for your comment. I think the meeting is over, and I want to say thank you again to all of us for being there. Most especially our presenter, Mr. Young Harrison. Thank you so much for being there, not just being there, but you were there in time. So we really appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank Coordinator, for the opportunity you granted me.